welcome to Meals with Mama. Today we'd like to show you how to make the cornbread. So we've been selling our cornbread for several years now, and I'm going to take you through the process. Today we're just going to make a bag of cornbread, traditional, and then we also have a gluten-free cornbread. So this is our gluten-free one. You'll notice it has the green, and we're just going to walk right through it with you. I want to show you how we make it. It's a very versatile item. And we're going to turn the oven on. If you read the back of it, go step by step. It tells us to preheat our oven. So we're going to do that right now at 325. And we're going to get that started before we add all our ingredients. Now, I personally like to put all my wet ingredients together. So I'm going to take my 1 3/4 cup of milk and I'm going to pour it into a bowl. And just make sure we get it all out. And then I'm going to add my oil, which is a 1/2 cup of oil. And when you're doing this, for me personally, I like to put it all in a bowl and mix it really good before I add it to my dry ingredient. So that way I know that I got everything beat up and ready to go into there's my 3 eggs. So, and if you're reading the back of if you read the back of the bag, it'll tell you exactly those items. I'm going to use my whisk. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork. It's not a problem. But you want to make sure you beat up those yolks really super good so as you're combining everything, it has a nice even flow throughout your flour and your cornmeal. So one of the really nice things about cornbread is it goes with any meal. We often use it for breakfast. We use it at lunch, and then we also use it at dinner. So once you get the wet ingredients mixed really good together, you know, you want everything to commingle in there. So once it looks good, we're going to move this over, and I've already dumped a whole bag. Now we use a whole bag because there's 7 children and mom and dad. And so we do the whole bag. But on the back, you will notice it tells you it makes 1 9x13. It makes 2 8x8 pans, or you can make up 24 to 30 muffins with it. So we're going to do the whole bag today because that's the way we normally do it. Now I'm going to put all my wet ingredient into the dry, and then we're just going to mix that together. So we're just going to pour it all in. Make sure you get it all, just like that. Okay, and then I like to keep things all tidy and out of the way, so we're going to do that. Now I'm just going to take a wooden spoon. I love wooden spoons, and the other thing I love is cast iron skillets. So I do cook mine in a cast iron skillet. Depending on what I'm going to make besides that, if I'm going to make a breakfast, I might use a 9x13. But any of you who have Dutch ovens, or, you know, you can even make this in the Instapot, actually. So I know a lot of you are using air fryers now and Instapots. That's absolutely usable. You can go on my website, and I will be giving you tips on things like that. And my website is mymamacookin, COOKIN.com. So get this all beat up real good. And I personally, a lot of people like it lumpy. I don't like to get any surprises of cornmeal or flour. So mine, I want it to be nice and smooth. So I'm going to beat it up, take out my daily frustrations, get this stuff good and smooth. And you can see it just almost looks like a cake batter, how it runs. And it's nice and smooth. So now I'm going to get my cast iron skillet. And I don't know how many of you have one of these. I know they're heavy. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing like a cast iron skillet. It lasts forever. You can use a little bacon grease in here, which is my preference. I love bacon grease. But if you don't, and a lot of you use spray, just give it a good spray all the way around. And then we're going to put our cornbread dough. And again, I don't like to waste anything, so we'll clean off our spoon. There's no kids here to lick it for me, so we're just going to clean it off. Okay, so we're going to clean that off, and then we're going to pour this right into, now this is a 8-inch cast iron skillet. You can use a 10 or 2 5s, whatever you want. But we're going to just pour that in there till it's about 2/3 full. That's about good. This stuff bakes up pretty good. You're going to have, the nice thing about this is you can use your oven. I think move over a little bit. You put it out on your grill. Now, in one of the segments coming up, my sons will show you how they actually do that. They actually put this on the grill and cook it outside. So if you don't want to heat up your kitchen, not a problem. You can cook it out on a grill. Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven at 325. Generally, when I'm doing this, I follow the same recommendations as the 9x13. So it's going to need I think it's 40 to, I'll just double check to make sure for you. Yep, 40 to 50 minutes, depending on your oven. If you have a convection oven, if you have a regular oven. So it just depends. So we'll go ahead and we'll open it up and we'll put it in. And I'm going to cook it on the middle. I like to cook it on the middle rack of our oven. And then we just wait because we're going to make some honey butter. Okay, so now we have our cornbread in the oven in our cast iron skillet or 9x13, whatever you've chosen, muffins. So now I'm going to show you how to make the honey butter. Now, we like to use butter, and we use a local butter if you can, whatever you got on hand. You can use margarine, you can use a blend, doesn't matter. And then we have so it's 1 cube of butter, or that's 8 tablespoons, and you can use 2 tablespoons of honey. Now, we are fortunate at our house. My youngest son raises bees. So basically, he works for the queen. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we put the honey with the butter, and any honey will work. It's just nice if you have a local honey because it's good for you. And then we're going to move that out of the way. We're going to blend it just with a hand blender. It gets a little messy, but don't worry, it'll taste wonderful. So you're just going to blend it all together. Make sure you get it all around the sides. Yep. Basically, that's it. Super sweet and simple. So now what you're going to do is what I like to do, the same bowl that the butter was in. We're just going to scrape this back into that bowl and be ready to go. And then we'll be able to put it on some of our honey butter on our cornbread, and you'll be able to taste it. And you made it yourself. Look at that. Oh, it smells wonderful. Wish you could smell it. It's yummy. I love honey butter. When I was a kid, we used to make our own butter just by taking the cream off the milk from the cow, and then we would just churn it. But nowadays, we don't do that anymore. So now we have our honey butter, and we're ready for our cornbread. Okay, now it's been about 40 minutes, and we're going to check our cornbread and make sure it's ready to come out of the oven, completely cooked. Oh, look at that. Yum, I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing. So what I normally do is I take my knife, and I know I'm going to cut it probably into 8 pieces, so I'm going to just go right in the center, and I'm going to pull it out, and if your knife comes out nice and clean, you know it's done. Interestingly enough, you do not want your cornbread to get overdone because it'll dry out. So it continues to cook in the cast iron for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So you're going to let it rest. We're going to let this rest for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to cut a piece of it and plate it up and see how it tastes. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and cut this up. So I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to go right down the center. Now, one of the things I did want to mention to you really quick while I'm doing this is generally when I make it, I use whole milk, I use farm fresh eggs, I use oil, here's the thing. If you cannot have milk, you have a dairy allergen, then you can use almond milk, you can use soy milk, whatever your dietary restrictions are. The nice thing about My Momma's Cornbread is that all of those things are not included in the mix. So anything you want to use for oil, we've done it. We've used applesauce in place of the oil. You can use egg beaters in place of the eggs, and you can use the almond milk or the soy milk in place of the milk. So a lot of different ideas and options for you, and it's just whatever your family and you can have. Again, with the gluten-free, same thing. If you guys need gluten-free, you can also make the restrictions and the different options. So I'm going to get this piece of cornbread out and plate it. And I think I'm going to need, hold on just a second. I think I'm going to need a little bit of a spatula to get this out. Okay, let me see if I got that good. Yep, there we go. Okay, and you can just see as this comes out, I'm going to do this one so you can see it as it comes out. And we're going to put it on the plate. Okay, yep, that looks good. All right, so now I'm going to move this because the pan is still hot, so I'm going to move it back over here. Okay, so now we have our piece of cornbread cut, and this is the way I prefer it. I cut it right down the middle. We're going to grab a scoop of this honey butter, and we're going to put it on the plate. And then we're going to put some on our cornbread. Smells so good. So we would just generally at home, we'd just mop it on just like that, however much you like. We like butter. Fills the cracks of the heart. Okay, so then we're going to take a fork and we're going to just make sure that this is good to eat. So I'm going to put that over there. Okay. So this is our cornbread, My Momma's Cornbread, and I'm Momma, and we're bringing this to you because we want to show you all the things you can do with cornbread mix. The first thing is you have to taste it. So good. You're going to love it. Well, this is Momma signing off from My Momma's Cooking. Until we eat again. Bye.